Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of Unsaid, episode number 3, and I'm honestly loving the feedback. Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of Unsaid, episode number 3, and I'm honestly loving the feedback. So thank you so very much for sending your love, sending your feedback, sending me your thoughts. Like, I had a couple of messages from you guys saying thank you, it really motivated you and gave you a little boost. So that's what it's all about. So thank you. So episode 3 and what we're going to talk about. So the last couple of weeks or so, I've actually been having more and more conversations about law of attraction. A lot of people have asked me whether I believe in law of attraction, whether I practice it, and my thoughts on it. So I thought, I'll know what I'll do. I'll do a little episode about law of attraction and what I think about it. Now, what is law of attraction? So law of attraction is essentially a faith, a belief that you have in the universe that it creates a sort of a positive and negative balance, right? That's law of attraction in a little nutshell. I could go in depth about this and spend half an hour talking to you about law of attraction and what it is, but I don't think you guys want to be bored today. So if you want to know exactly what law of attraction is, or you want some books that I recommend for you to have a little look and a little read, then pop me a message on my social media pages and I will send you a list of books that I think you should read that will improve your mindset and explain to you exactly what law of attraction is. But let's start at the beginning and what I actually think of law of attraction and whether I believe in it and whether I practice it. So, law of attraction. Let's take it back a little bit and go back to where I first came to be aware, should we say, of what is law of attraction and where it all started. So we're going to go back to a solid 6 years. I can't believe it's 6 years, but a solid 6 years where we had the beautiful pandemic, COVID. So as you can imagine, I was home alone with 2 beautiful little boys who I absolutely adored. However, it can be very isolating when you're allowed to go anywhere, or at least only go for a 1 hour walk outside. So I had to find something to fill my mind. I had to find something that I could research, that I could learn about, that I could add knowledge to my brain. And what I decided to pick on was the whole hype of law of attraction that came along during COVID. Everybody on social media was talking about it. It became a massive thing. And to be completely honest, I'm very, very grateful for it because I studied the crap out of law of attraction. Every book you can think of, starting with The Secret and then going on to The Magic and then going on through all the mindset and manifestation books you can think of, I have probably read it and it's probably on my bookshelf. But I went deep into it. I really thought, I want to give this a go. So it all started during COVID, and I would read about it and I kept doubting it, right? So just like any religion, just like anything, right? You have to truly believe in something for it to become true, or for you to really, you have to have that faith, you have to have that hope in something for you to honestly see it come true and come into life, right? So I was a bit skeptical, should we say, at first. And I really I read about it and I really kind of researched about it, and I kept thinking this is not true, this can't be true. But let me paint you a little picture of where my life was at during COVID. So I was in a very unhappy relationship. I was very isolated at home with my 2 boys. It was just not going anywhere. We were all closed in. I went through a real dark time mentally. My social circle became very, very small. Obviously, I know we weren't allowed to go anywhere, but even interaction on the phone, it became very, very small. My family was spread out all over the world. I was very isolated and I was truly, truly in a dark place. That's the only way I can describe it. I was in a very dark place. I had a job that I enjoyed, but I didn't feel at home, should we say, in that job. So I struggled with a lot of things. And that's where, I thought, okay, well, I'm in a dark place. I don't know where to turn, which way to go. I'm reading and reading about this thing called law of attraction. Maybe I should give it a go. Maybe I should just try to practice it and see what happens. And I did, very, very slowly, man. I did. I started to kind of understand what positivity was, understand what the right mindset and be in the right mind frame was. I started doing the inner healing work. I started kind of opening my eyes to a wider picture, a more potential, a more, a universal kind of mind frame where all these different possibilities could occur, all these different things could happen, and it's all within me. So I started to learn that everything that I created was within me. So if I created something that was bad, or I had a really bad negative mindset, or I would wake up in the morning and just think, it's another day, it's gonna suck, I'm gonna do the same routine, it's gonna be, mundane, I'm not gonna feel any joy, any happiness. If I kept doing that, what would happen? I would have a really bad negative day. Nothing would be positive, nothing would shift, nothing would change in this kind of mind frame. And then I started to read about it, and I was like, okay, well, what if I start waking up feeling a little bit more positive? So what if I start waking up and kind of seeing the world in a different light? Waking up and saying to myself, well, although I'm at home and, 2 kids in front of a laptop doing schoolwork, and I'm in front of a laptop working, even though this is our little bubble at the moment, what if today is going to be a good day? What if today something positive is going to happen? And I kept just trying to force myself to believe it. So try to constantly be positive about it. Constantly be like, today's going to be a good day. I'm going to make something good happen today. I am good enough for this. I am strong. I started speaking affirmations. And affirmations for me was the key to the start of it all. I had little notebooks. Not little notebooks. I lied. I know those sticky notes that you can stick on things. I don't know what they're called. Maybe they're called sticky notes. But I had a pack of them. And every morning I started writing something positive on it, something positive that I felt, something positive about myself. And for many, many, many years, I would refuse to say positive things about myself, right? Someone would comment about the way I look and I'd be like, no. Or like, I just didn't believe it. Or someone would say, oh, you're super smart. And I'd be like, yeah, but I don't believe it. Or like any positive thing that someone would say to me, through so many years of so many different situations and so many circumstances that happened, I completely started believing that I wasn't enough and those things weren't true, to the point that that's what I believed. That was genuinely what I believed. People would say, oh, you are beautiful. And I'd be like, sure, whatever. Or you are so intelligent. And I'd be like, well, I'm not, because here I am. Like, I would shut any compliment down. So writing an affirmation about myself, saying something like, I am kind, I am worthy, I am enough, was already a massive, massive step. So when I went through a sort of a period where I would write these things and say them out loud, it was almost as if I wasn't believing it. It was almost as like I was just doing it for the sake of doing it, but I didn't have actual belief in it. I didn't have actual faith in it. And believe it or not, still to this very day, there's moments where I genuinely struggle with it. However, I'm a lot better and I try a lot harder. But so I started with the sticky notes and I'd put them on my mirror, and every morning I'd write a new one, and every morning I'd think of something and I'd stick it on my mirror and I'd say it out loud and I'd repeat it. I'd be brushing my teeth and doing my hair and putting some sort of makeup to look like I was some sort of human inside the house that I would be stuck in for 24 hours. But I would say them out loud, you are enough, you are smart enough, you are good enough. And I'd kept repeating and repeating and repeating it. And the more I repeated it, the more I started to believe it. Now, this isn't to say that you become, big-headed and you end up with a massive ego. No, you just start to have that self-belief a little bit more. And with self-belief creates the path of wanting to grow more and to kind of encourage that positivity into your life. So the more that I did it, the more I repeated the affirmations, the more I wanted to kind of learn more about what law of attraction would take me. Where would it take me? What could I turn this into? What could it benefit me? How could I grow with this? So I started asking myself questions, which was, how do I want my future to look like? What do I want my life to look like? Yes, COVID's eventually going to finish and we're all going to be able to go out again. But when we do, what do I want my life to look like then? What is it that I want? Like, I can't be stuck in this job forever that I'm not 100% happy in. Like, I can't be doing nothing. Like, I need to be doing something. What is it that I absolutely love and what I absolutely want to do? Like, I started doing the inner work and asking myself a bunch of questions, and I would write them all down. So I got myself a really thick notebook, and I remember looking at it and thinking, I'm never going to fill all this. Like, this is way too many pages. But then also within 3 weeks, the whole book was completely filled, and I had a whole stack of what I wanted my future to look like, and what it is that I wanted my life to turn around and be. Bearing in mind, I was a single mum living by herself with 2 kids. So what I could and couldn't do was somewhat limited, should we say. But I had this book and I was like, well, this is what I want my life to look like. It wasn't, I want to be sailing in yachts all summer long. It wasn't, I want to have this luxurious life. It wasn't, these things that most people think that, if you're going to manifest, you're going to manifest big stuff, right? You're going to manifest becoming a millionaire. You're going to manifest like the man or the woman of your dreams. Like, it wasn't things like that. It was just small stuff to start off with, the way I look at myself, how I feel within myself, what I want my future to look like for me and my children. What small steps am I going to take to be able to get there? What work am I going to put in within myself and for me to be able to get there? What changes am I making in my life? In a relationship that I'm not happy with, what am I going to do about it? So the more I started writing, the more I started questioning the things that I was writing, the more I thought, well, it's time to put this in place. And what's the number rule of law of attraction? Is you speak it as if you already have it, right? So that's exactly what I started doing. I started doing these manifestations, not exactly manifestations where most people think that you sat there around like a fire, like singing Kumbaya. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Manifestations was almost a meditation. I remember I would wake up at 5 a.m. So every morning I'd wake up at 5 a.m. and I would have an hour where it was my self healing, my own mindset healing hour. The kids were still asleep. The house was dead quiet. Like, the sun was still rising, because I want to say it was like May time that I started doing this. So the sun was rising earlier. Like, it was just peaceful, right? So I had that 1 hour, and I remember I'd wake up and I'd do my morning routines. That's why, like, the people that I speak to about mindsets and how to shift your mindset and positives and negatives and those kind of things, I always speak about having a morning routine, because I know that for me, it was so, so, so beneficial. So I remember I'd have this morning routine where I'd wake up and I'd brush my teeth. Why? Because if you ever read the 5 a.m. Club, it says that brushing your teeth in the morning, it's one of those things that your brain will automatically wake up, right? You've got mint in your mouth, it's gonna wake you up. So I'd brush my teeth and I'd drink a massive glass of water. Like, we're talking about like a pint. I'd down it, because those are the 2 things that were like, it's really gonna wake you up. Like, you're tired at 5 a.m., it's gonna wake you up. So I started doing those 2 things, and then I'd have like a 15-minute workout routine, which would just simply get my blood pumping. It wasn't like I want to look a certain way by doing 15-minute workouts in the morning. It was just to literally get that blood flow into my body. And then I would sit down, I'd make a coffee, I would sit down and I'd drink my coffee and I would journal. I journaled the crap out of it. And then when I finished journaling, I would do like a 5-10 minute meditation. And in this 5-10 minute meditation, I would literally just see myself in the future, what I wanted my future to look like. How did I want my mornings to look like, my afternoons, my evenings, like. And a lot of it was just, I want peace. I want peace. I want to love myself. I want to be a good enough mother for my children. I want to be more present. I want to, give them the life that they deserve. I'm willing to do the hard work. And it was all like, I have done the hard work to give my children the life they deserve. And, we'd wake up and it was this, home, and it was exactly how I wanted it to be. And like all these little details, like as I meditated, I could see all the little details. And, the car that I was driving, and like little silly things, but at the same time, things that make up your life, right? Make up your day to day. And of course, we all have wants. Yeah, we all have things that we want that would be nice, that are also luxurious. But it all started with the mindset framework to then get to those things. What hard work I'm going to put in? What am I going to do to change this? What am I going to do to change my life around? I've got to do something. So I just started doing that. And my morning routine was like, it was a good 45 minutes to an hour. And I would journal, and I would journal as if like I was living it already. So I would journal as if like that was the day of my future self. And I started doing it. And the more I started doing it, the more it all sort of started to come to life. And as silly as it may sound, like I started living the life that I was creating. I think it was shortly after I was let go from the job that I was not happy in, right? And my first thought was, well, how the freaking hell am I going to afford my rent now? But at the same time, it was a blessing because I wasn't happy in the job. And I kept saying in my journal, I'm not happy in this job, but I need to find something different. I kept saying it, so it came to life, right? So I was let go because of COVID and everything. They had to sort of cut costs. So I was one of the costs they cut, which was absolutely fine because I was not happy in that job. But within a couple of weeks, I found a job that I absolutely loved. So it shifted. And I was like, well, yes, I was a little bit down. And don't get me wrong, it took a dip. It took a dip of my pay. And it scared the living crap of me. You know, single mother, paying the bills. Scary. But it was what I was constantly saying. I don't like this job. This is not the job for me. This is not where I'm happy. So I was let go. And as scary as it was, it opened up a door for a job that I loved. So I started a new job a couple of weeks later. And as I started a new job, I started to learn new skills, and I started to create a different group of, my social group changed because I could feel myself outgrowing the social group that I was in. We didn't really stay much in touch over COVID. Like, it wasn't really working out for me. And I could see this new social group changing with like-minded people, with people who were as positive and as open-minded. And I started seeing a shift in my life. And then like simple stuff, like I kept saying, I really want to have a new car. Like, I promised my kids I'd have a new car, and it's going to be a nice car. And I really want a new car. And I kept saying the car that I wanted. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not going to be able to afford this car. I don't know how I'm going to afford this car. And behold, like a month or two later, my car breaks down. So my little car that I barely was able to afford in the first place broke down, which meant I had to buy a new car. But by doing so, it meant that I'd have to choose. Like, it was just, it's so hard to explain. Like, all these little things that seem so negative and seem like it could go so wrong, it opened up to the things that I kept wanting and saying that I wanted. So I got a new car, and it was a nice car. The kids absolutely loved and adored that car. I'm pretty sure that Lucas got in the car for the first time and was like, Mommy, these seats are like Lightning McQueen car seats. And I was like, to hell yeah, they are. But because something negative happened, and I, instead of looking at it and being like this is another thing, like I lost my job, I was forced to get a different one, my car broke down, like unrepairable, I have to get a new car. Like, I found ways, and as I found ways, there was all the things that I was writing down. And then it all just started to shift. My mindset started to shift. I was like, this works. Being positive and being, healed from within, and letting go of so much negativity and letting go of so much hatred of like, why is the world so against me? Just allowed more things to come in and open up new doors that I didn't even know were there. I started practicing gratitude on a daily basis. Every single day, I would say, what am I grateful for today? The hot water that runs through my taps, the fridge that's full of food, like the fact that I live in a safe home, the fact that I have a job that pays for the bills, and a car that gets my kids to schools, and 2 healthy children, and a happy family. Like, I kept saying it. And the more gratitude that I put out, the more more good stuff kept happening. I got to the point that I got my kids to be like, every night I would tuck them in and 3 things you're grateful for. And that's a routine that still to this day we've stuck to. Every night, 3 things that you're grateful for. And the things that those boys come up with are absolutely, honestly, they touch my heart, because they're also so simple things that sometimes you think children wouldn't even think about, but yet they're grateful for it. So the more that I practiced the positivity, the more that I allowed it to come into my life, the better my life became. I then started a community and I started my social media. And my social media then became this platform of mindset and positivity. And that's how then I grew different businesses, was because of the platform that I created of mindset and positivity. It was through that community that I built in the first place so many years ago that I then got inspired to do this podcast. And for so long I kept saying, I don't have the time to do this podcast. I don't, until something happened at the beginning of this year. And I was like, this is the right time. This is something you've wanted to do for so long. And now you have the time to do it. This is now the right time for you to start doing it. So I did it. And I don't regret it. I absolutely love it. And the feedback that I get back from you guys, and the feedback that I get from people I don't even know, saying I listened to it and it truly helped me today. I really needed it today. Like small things like that, I am beyond grateful for. So the more that I practiced and the more that I believed in it, the more my life started to change. Now, some of you might say that's law of attraction, but some of you might also say that's just luck. And let me tell you, believing in luck is not the only thing that's going to change your mindset. It's not the only thing that's going to help you grow forward. It's the whole shift, the whole energy shift that my mind went through, the healing, the going through the trauma that I've been through. We've all had something that's shaped us, and we all have ups and downs, 100%. But it's how you accept them. You know, how do you accept the negatives that have happened? How do you accept that it didn't go your way? Did it allow you to become better as a person? Or did you just drown in it? Did you play the victim? Or did you grow from it? I've had so many opportunities. If we just count the 6 years, then we can just count the 6 years. But even then, I've had so many opportunities where I could go, this is it. Life sucks. And I could allow it to embrace me completely and just be like, nah, I can't do this anymore. But I've decided to take a complete shift. Like, I accept every bad thing that's happened. I accept every negative thing that's happened because it shapes who I am. It allows me to be the person sat in front of you now telling you my story. It's giving me the self-belief and the confidence that I can tell my story, and maybe it'll help one person. And if it helps one person, then I'm doing something good over here. Like, there's so much that we could take in and just allow it to drown us. But if we don't accept the past, if we don't accept the things that have happened, we can never open up doors for the future. So it might be law of attraction. It might be, you know, this universal power and energy, or it could be a simple shift in a mindset. Am I exactly down to what it is? I'm not exactly sure, but I keep faith in it. I do believe that things happen for a reason. I do believe in the whole butterfly effect. I do believe that, you know, maybe something didn't happen for you today like you wanted it to because it's not meant for you just yet. Maybe this is not meant for you at all, and it's creating a whole different path that you haven't even began to imagine about it yet. But it's coming. It's on its way. You just haven't seen it yet. But it's the universal energy telling you, well, this way is a little bit better, and just shifting you a little bit. Maybe every negative thing that happens is the universe shifting you into a better path. Who knows? But what I do know is that carrying a mindset where you understand the difference between negativity and positivity is a massive thing. Whether you believe it in the whole faith in law of attraction and, you know, universal powers and all those things, that's completely up to you. And if you want to read about it, by all means do it. What I am grateful for is that I was introduced into it. I learned about it, which allowed me to completely shift my mindset and allow then others to do the same. I created a community through COVID and just after COVID too, where I helped people do the same thing as I did. And that it's as if like I was supposed to do that. That was my path. That was my time to be able to help and give out what I've learned. And I'm so grateful for that. that's what's allowed me to get to here today and have you guys listen to me. Like, there's the small things in life that bring you that shift to do greatness. You just got to accept the process. You've got to trust the process. You've got to flow with it. You've got to go with it. And you've got to think positively. Be grateful for all the little things that you have. Practice gratitude on a daily basis. Have your own morning routine. I cannot explain how much having that morning routine saved me. Like, I can genuinely say it saved me. I was in such a dark place. But doing that 5 a.m. wake up and having those set things for me to do, to brush my teeth, as silly as it sounds, to drink a massive glass of water, to really wake up my inner self, to do a 5-minute workout, to then sit down and journal how I want my life to be, write down things that I was more than grateful for. What do I want my future self to look like? And I can honestly say that still to this day, things keep happening, things keep shifting, things keep changing to the things that I once years ago wrote about. And I carry on doing this on a daily basis. I will still journal and I will still say affirmations and I will still say what I'm grateful for on a daily basis, because I know if I'm not grateful for the small things that I do have, I will never receive bigger things, because my mindset is just not programmed for it. It's about the small shifts, the small changes. So whatever it is that you believe in, just believe in yourself first. Just believe that you are capable first, that you are enough, and that you can be positive in your life enough to make those changes, whether big or small. Your life, your path, it's all within your power. It's just what frequency you choose to live it in. If it's in a negative one, I can assure you only negative things will happen around you. If it's in a positive one, you will see how many good things you start to attract into your life. It opens up incredible paths that you'll be completely amazed about. But you've got to believe it. You've got to believe it within yourself. You have to do that mindset work. You've got to do that inner healing. You've got to let go of things that no longer serve you and just believe that the life that you've always dreamed about is there. You've just got to have that self-belief and self-faith that you can get there. Simple. If you want any tips on how to create a morning routine, or if you want any tips on how to shift your mindset or anything like that, please pop over to my social medias and drop me a message, and I'll be more than happy to help with anything at all. This one has been a little bit longer, so I apologize. I was kind of on a roll and I didn't have a man at my window disturbing me today, which if you listen to episode 2, you know. But thank you so much for once again listening to me rant on, telling my truth, being completely unapologetically me, and stay tuned for the next episode. Give me a follow if you like the video. Lots of love. Take care.